came to St Luce to work on the ACP during my summer holiday, and there were so many women here who just didn't have any opportunities at all that it seemed like there would be potential for a project to give the women skills to make something and sell it to this market of volunteers that were constantly coming through. So that's where it started. There was a tradition of embroidery here in St Luce. Some of the older ladies learnt with Lutheran missionaries a long time ago, but they didn't have the finances to buy the fabric and the thread, so it was something that for many years they've never capitalised on. There just needed to be a little bit of investment here to rescue those skills that were going to die out in St Luce, and just give people a bit of confidence, because when we were starting the project, a lot of the women who were interested came and said to us, well, even if you teach us to embroider, we don't know how to approach facade, we don't speak English, you know, how do we sell these things? So the project's become about that as well. It's not just about teaching the skills to do the practical work, but it's about teaching women to basically run a business, which is a big challenge, but you know, we're getting there. I mean, women here love colour. There's not the same sense of colour as we have in Europe at all. People love wearing brightly coloured clothes, you see it all the time. In terms of image making, the first group worked on translating the aesthetics that were already here in the village into Stitch. So we looked at traditional weaving patterns, we looked at roofing patterns, we looked at traditional hair plaiting as well. We also made with the first group lots of designs based on drawings of wildlife, because obviously Madagascar is famous for wildlife. Most of the people who come to St Luce want to see the wildlife. It's great for conservation as well, because the women start talking about all these animals that before they never gave a second thought to. We've looked at traditional culture, and we've been looking particularly at traditional storytelling. Because this is very much an oral culture, people don't write things down. Most of my students are either illiterate or have very low level of literacy, and we wanted to capture some of those stories. So the women quite often will come in and tell stories as they're working, but now, after they've told the story, then they draw it out in their sketchbook, try and break it up into a storyboard, and then they embroider it. This is actually the only place in the village where a load of women can get together without husbands. So it becomes a sort of a place where women know that they can come for support. Particularly in the new class, we've got a lot of very vulnerable women. We've got widows, we've got disabled ladies, we've got women who aren't married but have children. All the women who are working with us, all of those who've graduated, have significantly increased their income, and that allows them to make changes, quite big changes in their lives.
Matetetika tegna mahazohazo vola da sy nanona ny fiaigna tegna taloha, sady hitanay koa fa te ovaova avao koa ny fiaignanay amin'ity zay ty.
Lahat amin'ny narako amin'ny Stitch zay, da mba mahita kedy matetika avao, fa sy da miahinahy teo, da misy efaky 2 andro zaho vao mahita. Agnatin'ny 2 andro zao zay da matory alina avao zay mironaky.
Matun ke ba konat? Dari mati bula. Ba pa ako nga ba kung singan doon ako miskatang. At sok ni college.
We're also seeing people able to improve their housing, so we've got 6 ladies who've now built a new house with their embroidery money, so that eases overcrowding. We've got people being able to afford medicine who haven't been able to afford it before, so people now trying to access the health services that are here. If what is in St Luce isn't enough, they're able to afford to go to Fort de Fan. It's incredibly moving to watch women who have basically nothing and who've had no opportunities at all. You give them a small opportunity and they take it with both hands. I've been lecturing for a long time in textile design, and I've never had students as hard working as this, because they've got a real incentive, because that actually puts food on the table. It has been wonderful and humbling and inspiring, and I always cry when I talk about this.